So, yesterday I had my first ever full-blown panic attack. So that was unpleasant. I think it was probably a long time coming, and the recent international crisis maybe tipped it over the edge. I was triggered over the stupidest thing. I just finished cooking, so I called my wife for dinner. Our work has dried up significantly during the coronavirus stuff, so we've started playing board games online. I've been playing Catan, and Litz has been playing Blockers. So anyway, I called her for dinner. She was in the middle of a game and said she'd come soon. About 10 minutes passed, so I went and asked her, "What's up?" I think I obviously sounded annoyed, and even if I didn't, I vocalized that I was. Eventually she came for dinner, and I'd wound myself up so much by this point that I said something like, "Don't do that again," or whatever. I just couldn't let it go. I kind of kept hammering the fucking point, like, over and over and over. I don't really know why. Couldn't really help myself, it just kind of... Eventually I got so wound up I had to get up and leave. So my mind was fucking racing, bouncing between thoughts, things like, am I appreciated? Do I have value? Can I rely on you? Can you rely on me? Do I worry too much about you? Do I have purpose in life other than doing our bookkeeping and cooking our fucking meals? Do I have purpose? And that was like a wave of fucking existential dread. I felt like I was fucking drowning. So I got up and I went inside to talk to her. I knew I'd fucked up, and I also knew I was probably having a panic attack. So I got to her office and she was visibly mad. I tried to get words out, but it just... I started hyperventilating. I had to rush back outside. I felt like the walls were closing in on me. I couldn't be inside. I couldn't, like, breathe inside. So once I got my words back, we talked for a while. Neither of us were mad at each other. It was important for me that she knew that none of this was her fault. I told her about, like, my lack of feeling purpose and all of the triggers that, like, finally broke the horse's back. So basically, the lack of purpose is just one small thing. Like, I can normally distract myself for long enough and I don't think about it. But now we're isolated sort of indefinitely and, with zero ability to plan for the future. My one thing I had left was my ability to keep us adequately fed, I guess. And when that didn't work out, I think I just kind of like finally snapped. I think I've also kind of figured out why I've been so argumentative with my parents and my family lately, like the last few years, and increasingly so. Basically, I'm going fucking stir crazy, living out in the middle of nowhere. Like, I sometimes go weeks without seeing anyone other than my wife, and usually when I do see someone else, it's my family. I'm naturally a very inquisitive person. I kind of see the world as perpetually broken, I guess. And I'm always looking for things that could be, like, improved. Which works well when I'm working, because I can channel that energy into my work. As well as if I live in a city and get to see my friends and stuff. I get to, like, spread those discussions. I get to spread those discussions and ideas, like, out over a few dozen people. But then when I'm not working, because I live with my wife full time now, we both work from home. I do my absolute best to keep the peace in the house and not start pointless arguments and stuff. I mean, try and maintain somewhat of a functional marriage. Because I love her and I want to spend the rest of my life with her. So when I finally do see someone else, I just fucking explode with ideas and interaction, and I think it's probably way too intense for a lot of people, and I really don't realize that I'm doing it at the time, but I just kind of like pick these fights, and I keep fucking driving them home like super fucking intensely, because if I can't spread out my energy over a larger amount of people, I can't keep it in either, so it's kind of all just gets directed at some undeserving person. Usually one of my parents or family, or in this case, my wife, I guess, which is fucking shit. And now that I've realized exactly why I'm doing it and how much I'm doing it, I feel very fucking bad about it. And because we're all pretty isolated out here, I think we kind of all do it to a certain extent. Just not quite as intensely as I do. Like, I don't think it's caused any sort of irreparable damage yet. And in many ways, I'm kind of glad I had this panic attack. Consciously and subconsciously, this is why I was yearning to go back to a city in the first place so much. I needed to get out and shoot some docs and talk to some people and fucking stumble home drunk at 5 a.m. and just generally have contact with human beings. But now the world is on fire, and it looks like it will be for an indefinite amount of time, like minimum 3 months, probably up to 18 months. I mean, who fucking knows at this point? I mean, one thing's for sure, the world won't be the same place once it's all said and done. Hopefully there'll be some positive change. Maybe people will finally realize again that politics is kind of like to be taken seriously and is for serious experts rather than personalities. And maybe they'll see the result of letting the various corruption slide for so long. Or maybe they won't. Who fucking knows? Anyway, in the meantime, I'm stuck out here in the middle of butt-fucking nowhere with nothing to do. But at least I'm conscious of how important it is to keep busy now. Like, the importance of doing work that feels purposeful, and also looking after myself, so like diet, exercise, and recreation. And most importantly, to treat the people that matter the most to me in life better, and to kind of like cherish the moments I have with them, and kind of try to just cherish the moments, At the risk of sounding completely fucking cliche, I guess like it's time to make lemonade.